It's hard to imagine that a statement like "protect our daughters" would be deemed so controversial you feel the need to delete it. But that's exactly what Dan Orlovsky, ESPN employee, did a few weeks ago in the middle of the Amain Khalif and the boxing controversy at the Olympics. He sent out a tweet, "Protect our daughters." And very quickly he decided maybe that's not such a great idea. I'm going to delete that post. Why anyone would feel the need to do that, I'm not sure. Unless you work at woke ESPN. And now, as we're finding out a couple weeks later in an interview, Dan Orlovsky revealed the reason that he deleted that post, and it's because it doesn't represent the viewpoint of his employer, ESPN. Now, of course, very interestingly, this interview comes on the heels of the news that ESPN just fired Sam Ponder. Very notable because she was the only woman employed at ESPN who's been speaking out against transgender athletes and male athletes competing against women in women's sports. As if that wasn't crystal clear enough already that ESPN doesn't want people to protect women's sports, at least not like this, the Dan Orlovsky admission is just more clear evidence. Report, NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky says he deleted his "Protect Our Daughters" tweet because it did not represent the views of his employer, ESPN. What are we supposed to make of that? Like, what am I supposed to assume? ESPN, that doesn't represent ESPN. So ESPN doesn't want to protect female athletes. ESPN doesn't want to protect people's daughters. ESPN is fine with them getting brutalized, with them getting cheated, with them getting beat in sports. And it's so bad that Dan Orlovsky felt the need to delete this. Now, from an analyst perspective, I actually enjoy listening to Dan Orlovsky. Certainly don't agree with everything, but I really like watching him break down different stuff. I like his appearances on their different shows. But to be so cowardly that this is the response, right? That you can't even tweet this without fear of being fired. And to be honest, maybe that would have happened. Maybe Dan Orlovsky would have been fired if he'd left that up. We're seeing a lot of people leave ESPN that have this viewpoint, that are being fired, that are being forced out. We saw Sage Steele, we saw Sam Ponder, and now Dan Orlovsky feels like he has to delete this. Riley Gaines says this: ESPN would have no problem if he tweeted, "Protect trans youth. God forbid we protect young girls." Now, we also did a video recently on how Kirk Herbstreit had very much doubled down on his opinion that men do not belong in women's sports. And it doesn't seem like he's going to delete his shit. Doesn't seem like he's going to back down from that. But Dan Orlovsky, this is a big story, especially the way he did it. If he had never commented on it, that would be one thing. We'd all have our own assumptions. But the fact that he admitted now, a couple weeks after the fact, he admits that he doesn't feel like his tweet represented ESPN. Protect our daughters. How is that a bad thing? How is that a bad message? That's not a message that ESPN supports, because ESPN wants transgender freaks, wants men who are pretending that they're women. They would rather have that so they can virtue signal and not be called bigots or transphobes or whatever than a statement like "protect our daughters." Absolutely fucking pathetic. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.